We're live. See,
We're live?
I don't know why I said that.
That's what I usually say during the podcast.
I know, I wanted to beat you to the punch.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mega Strange Mailbag, or as I like to call it, the Mega Strange Hotline. Today, we're answering calls
From around the globe.
from around the globe. Sorry, I'm like chewing gum here.
Yeah. Spit it.
Doing a talk show here. I got to get that gum out. We're taking calls from around the globe, from around the country, from all of you, our faithful correspondents out there, the mega strangers, the people on the street who are keeping their ears to the ground and their eyes to the sky, patrolling for anything strange, paranormal, inexplicable, or just downright bizarre. We have two reports coming in today. One from our local neck of the woods, San Diego.
Whoa.
We have a local mega stranger here in our hometown who saw something that he can't quite explain. His wife saw it. His neighbors saw it. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't see it.
I know exactly where he said it was.
Yeah, and then we have another story from a registered nurse who shares an experience that apparently is very common to people who are sick or near death. It was kind of creepy to hear about the message. I was really excited to put it on today's show.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. This is the Mega Strange Hotline. Oh, what?
This has nothing to do with anything, but I just wanted to say because it was in my head and I just wanted to get out real quick. But there's this podcast I used to listen to that isn't around anymore.
What was it called?
Jonah Radio, starring Jonah Ray.
Shouts out.
Friend of the not friend of the show, but I wish.
The show's a friend of Jonah. But Jonah's not a friend of the show.
But he talked about on the show where one of his friends once met Lars Ulrich, the drummer of Metallica.
Lars Ulrich, like an impersonator?
No,
the
Lars Ulrich.
Oh.
And they said that was really nice conversation until he like had a beer and he's like, oh, awesome. I couldn't even do it.
Shut up.
Yeah, they said he like fully like deep throated the beer before he. And when I was drinking the water, it came rushing back to my head. I was like, I have to tell that story. Anyway,
Lars was fucking with that person.
Hopefully, I want to do that. That's hilarious.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Today we're gonna be deep throating some beers. Actually, we won't, but you might need to once you get to these stories. Let's start it with this first call.
Yeah.
A paranormal report from San Diego, California. Oh, wait. We'll start with whatever call you want.
All right, I loaded that one up.
Okay.
What's up, Mega Strange boys? Just checking in because I live in the San Diego area and I saw a UFO last Thursday. It was corroborated by 3 neighbors and my waifu, so definitely sat out there for about a half hour watching something that at first looked like it could have been a helicopter, and then it started changing bright colors, very Spielberg Close Encounters of the Third Kind vibe. From like orange to blue to red to green, and it got brighter and dimmer, and then started zipping across the sky in really quick succession, moving in patterns that clearly a helicopter couldn't do, moving from one point to another quickly and stopping on a dime. And we watched it outside, and until about a half hour later, it just faded out and disappeared. But it looked like it was above the North Park area. I don't know if you guys can corroborate, if you know anyone who saw it from that vantage point, but it was pretty cool. Just letting you guys know we saw some crazy shit in San Diego. All right.
Okay. So
I used to live in North Park.
You used to live in North Park. You're giving away your home address here. Take some notes.
Yeah.
Johnny Stalker's out there. I know.
I don't live there anymore.
They're going to pick up the trail. They're going to start with their bloodhounds in North Park. Anyways. Where's this story go?
I don't know. I was just saying. I was gonna say I'm a North Park expert, so I know. No, I'm kidding.
You lived in North Park for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Suddenly, this guy's a North Park expert.
I'm an expert. I know exactly where Lucha Libre is. Let's get some tacos.
Yeah, it's a good taco shop.
Shouts
Shouts out. They're not a friend of the show, but the show's a friend of them.
It's hard with stuff over San Diego, just like UFO stuff, because this is technically a military town, so there are a lot of military bases around.
There's no military base near North Park.
Okay. Because I was just going to say, like, I've seen, like, giant helicopters with, like, fucking, like, those big ones that, like, can hold a bunch of people that they want, like, going around. Like, I've seen all, like, weird military shit
in
the air around here. My first thought is, flares or anything, but you are right. There's really nothing around that area.
I have lived in San Diego my whole life, and just a couple of, maybe like a handful of times, less than 5 I can count, I thought I saw something in the sky. That could have been a UFO.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw one very recently.
Oh.
But I'm always hesitant to share these stories because I just assume that there's a logical explanation for it. I just assume, even though I can't explain it, somebody's got to be able to explain it, I saw something recently. I was driving in Santee, which is like East County, San Diego. I don't know what it was. It was like a collection of red lights in the sky over the Highway 52. But it was hard to tell if it was a big thing that was far away or a small thing that was really close. It could have been a helicopter. It could have been a drone. I don't know, but it seemed like a haze of red lights that was kind of just moving and it vanished. It was flying. It was unexplained. Was it an alien? I don't know.
You think it's the same thing this guy saw? Or do you think that was like different time frame?
Actually, now that you mention it, probably would be around the same time frame. Now that you mention it, this would have been just a few weeks ago, but it would be in Santee, not North Park.
Yeah.
That's like a 20-minute drive. But what I was going to say about this person, you know what I think they saw? A drone.
Okay. That makes sense, like moving that fast.
I think because a drone has green lights on one side and red lights on the other, and it might even have a set of blue lights. I'm not sure. But when he said the 3 colored lights, I was like, I think you can find drones with those colors on them. And then, sometimes it is hard to tell if it's a large object at a distance or a smaller object up close.
Yeah, and North Park checks out. There might be some like hip person shooting like a vlog or something. They need to get a cool drone shot.
But then again, I'd like to think if you're a fan of this show,
you would know
you're
what
not
a drone.
some dummy.
Yeah.
And you and your wife and your 3 neighbors would probably be able to recognize a drone flying overhead.
You'd hear it.
I don't know. It's inconclusive. I'm going to have to do some research on this.
Yeah.
I did a quick Googling once we received this story. I wasn't able to find anything. Usually the news in San Diego is pretty quick to report UFO sightings here. I feel like I see that on the news all the time. I didn't hear anything about this.
It's funny how the news, like, they're so desperate for like people to watch that they're willing to like
they'll just
report on stuff like this.
They'll just wing random shit out there.
They're like, UFOs in San Diego, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And it's like, allegedly. Real quick, I just want to say our Skinwalker episode came out, and
check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
A lot of people are talking about that photo from that newscast is from a film called Expo or whatever. I wanted to say, I personally knew that as well. In that newscast, at the end they bring it up. They say that photo is.
Well, why did you hang me out to dry for, Johnny? You knew the whole time. You showed me this newscast, and you're like, check it out. They're reporting on this Skinwalker in New Mexico, and then you pause the tape before they say it's from a movie.
Well, it was boring. Like, I didn't want it to like go on for too long. I personally wanted to show that because I thought the editing was really funny.
He sabotaged me. Everyone,
I'm sorry.
You saw it. He made me look stupid. Well, I also saw, since we're talking about our latest Skinwalker episode, check it out. It's doing Iron Man numbers on YouTube. I also received comments on our Instagram because I posted that photo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Johnny.
I'm sorry.
It was a part of our program, and it was presented in the collection of Skinwalker evidence. So I included it in our Instagram post. And lots of loyal viewers were quick to point out that it was from the 1980s horror movie Expo.
Yeah.
But
it's XPO, right? I want to make sure.
Go to our Instagram and you can see what the movie is because our fans wrote it out. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the news was still reporting it as an alleged Skinwalker from New Mexico. And I will just go on to say that photo looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's
it's a Photoshop,
dubious at best. You think it's a Photoshop?
In that news
Oh,
they
because
show
it's
it.
like a night vision.
Yeah. They added the night vision from the screenshot from the film.
Yeah. But I felt like that was kind of the smallest part of our whole episode.
Yeah, I wanted to show that because I thought it would. Because I remember in the clown episode was such a hit when I showed that. Like, I'm gonna beat your ass in National City.
Yeah, that's also what got us demonetized. But, you know, I don't want to speak too much about the episode we just did, but I will say there's so much information about that government research facility that we talk about in that episode, a place called Skinwalker Ranch. Since doing that episode, I found way more information about that place.
Oh.
That's a follow-up episode.
Yeah.
The guy who owns it, the millionaire, Robert Bigelow, this guy is super fascinating. He's worth $700 million. He is funding UFO research, paranormal research, shapeshifter, interdimensional being research, and the stories coming out of his research facilities. We're talking about like Goosebumps, R.L. Stein level tales. So,
and there's like a reality TV show about it, I think.
Yeah, we're going to do another episode covering that place. Check out our feature-length episodes every Saturday at noon.
Yes.
But this is the mailbag episode, so let's get to our next call here.
Okay.
Hey, Strange Boys. This is John from Northern California, and I wanted to talk to you about some weird, strange shit I've seen working as an ICU nurse. I've been a nurse for 10 years. I just got my PhD in something similar to what I'm about to talk about. And this is called The Visit. It was actually featured in an episode of The Sopranos. And so what can happen with people who are near death or who are super, super sick is they'll say to me or somebody else that they're being visited by a family member who sometimes they're just standing in a room there. Sometimes they're walking around and communicating with them. Sometimes they even say that they're really frustrated because they see this person in the room and they can't talk back. But it's a known thing, and we don't know why people do this. And it is super freaky when somebody tells us this. And you may have actually experienced it yourself, fortunately or unfortunately. So, yeah, The Visit. And, you know, if you're interested, I can talk about some other wacky stuff that we see that we really can't explain in healthcare. It's super weird. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Keep it strange. Bye.
It sounded like he was like cooking.
Nice.
At the end there. I heard it.
Yeah,
Like,
he was cooking
like,
up some scary
he was, like,
stories.
Opening up a box or something.
A box of satanic whoop ass for my ears and my mind. Thank you, John. That was John. Yeah, the registered nurse, 10 years in healthcare. I'm sure you see all kinds of wacky, inexplicable stuff. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, working in a hospital, being around people who are close to death or are dying, yeah, you're going to hear a lot of ghost stories. Have you ever heard of this phenomenon, The Visit?
Yes. I find that if you like look up a lot of stories, like top 10 craziest ghost stories, 10 out of 10 times you'll find one of the stories will be like a similar story where it's like, you know, my grandma's about to die and she kept talking about how her sister was visiting and, you know, like stuff like that. Is this
a dead relative?
Yeah.
This is somebody who's passed on.
Yeah. I'm just paraphrasing from just like vague things I've seen before, but yeah, I've heard similar stories to this where it's like a dead relative will be like, or someone who's about to die will see a dead relative and keep saying they're coming to visit.
Well, so like, how does it make you feel to hear this? Our friend John say that working in the hospital, this happens on a regular basis. Like it's a real thing.
It kind of.
Not that, I mean, I don't know if the ghosts are there, but it's a real phenomenon. People are experiencing this.
Yeah, I feel kind of two feelings with this. One, just sadness. Like, it bums me out a little bit.
Why does it bum you out?
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be a sad thing. It should be comforting.
I guess. But, like, also, I don't know. To me, I don't know if this is the skeptic part of my brain, but it's like, it just makes me feel like, you know, as you're dying, your brain is kind of...
Can I make an argument? Can I make an argument for why this may be actual ghosts?
I would love that.
I'm going to try to make the most persuasive argument I can.
Because the cynic part of my brain is not.
And I'm going to try to do it scientifically,
please,
okay?
Please.
I believe in
God.
I believe in God. Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?
There's like 3 people out there. They're like, oh,
do you believe in God?
I believe. There's like one person out there that's like, holy shit.
Moving on. Okay, so I believe in the theory of evolution. I do. That's not a joke. Like,
yeah. Sorry, I just want to also bring up everyone in the comments of the fucking simulation episode saying I'm like when I was talking about.
Let's not talk about the past episodes. Let's stick to this episode, anyway. Johnny. This isn't therapy to get back at all the comments.
All right, you're right.
All right, so the visit. Why do people who are sick and dying see relatives? I don't know, but why I believe it might be real. Okay. I believe in the theory of evolution. I believe in like survival of the fittest, and I believe in like adaptation. I believe that every feature a human being has was something that we acquired through adaptation because it made us better at surviving.
Okay.
Right? So we don't have hair on our bodies. We evolved to not have hair on our bodies because that makes us more likely to survive.
Yeah.
And people who do have too much hair on their bodies, they just died over time, naturally, statistically.
Not me.
Right? Well, this is how like evolution works. I'm trying to think of a better example, but like wisdom teeth, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like we don't need our wisdom teeth, and so
there's certain organs we don't need anymore.
Yeah, I just want to get this concept across that like if you have a feature as a not even as a human, but as a species, and that feature holds you back in some way from surviving or procreating, it's going to slowly get weaned out.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. The visit phenomenon in no way helps you survive. In no way does it help you survive. People who experience this are already dying.
Okay.
So how can this thing evolutionarily exist if it doesn't serve a purpose? Biologically, evolutionarily. Why does your brain do this if it doesn't help you survive?
I have the answer.
Okay, point. Here comes the counterpoint. Go.
Our brain is always preparing for our death because that's like the biggest, kind of event in our life. As you die, your brain releases like a hallucinogen to kind of help you deal with dying. Like people say they see like white light and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's because there's it's like a form of adrenaline almost.
Yeah, it's like a DMT trip.
Yeah, exactly, DMT. So I would say that doesn't have any evolutionary, benefit as well. Similarly to like your brain showing you like, dead relatives. It's like kind of a similar defense mechanism to kind of help you have a more peaceful death. I think the brain kind of does that. I think that's an evolutionary thing as well to kind of so your brain doesn't want you to have like a painful death.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. Counterpoint to your counterpoint. Okay. How can it be an evolutionary thing if an evolutionary thing is something that is supposed to help you survive?
Yeah.
But this is something you experience at the point of death. How do you discern from the people who have it and the people who don't have it? How would you pass that gene along? You don't know if you experience this thing until you're already dead. So how does it serve you evolutionarily? That's why I'm saying I don't think it's necessarily an evolutionary function. I just think it might be a cold, hard fact.
Oh, shit.
Just a way of life. Just the way it is on a universal level. It is that way because it is that way. It's not here to help you survive. It's just an experience that you have. Maybe that DMT trip opens your mind up to the afterlife.
That'd be cool. They say that you have about like 3 minutes of dream activity as you die, and on like a normal like night's rest, you have like less than a minute. Like so, it'll almost feel like an eternity. of a dreamscape just a couple minutes before you die. Sorry, that's a whole other can of worms.
No, that's exactly what we're talking about. I find that stuff fascinating.
Oh, me too.
There's a book that I perused and I haven't really read too much into called Cracking Open the Head, I think it's called. And it kind of talks about these, like, I think we had another caller. Maybe we'll have to do this in another hotline episode, talking about native tribes that use substances like ayahuasca to like hallucinate for spiritual reasons.
Yeah.
And how it is similar to what people describe as like a near-death experience. Talking about the connection between like spirituality and consciousness. I don't know. Maybe this is a can of worms that is too big to get into on our mailbag episode.
Yeah.
Let's reel it back into The Visit specifically. Okay. So you're dead and dying. I actually saw this episode of Sopranos and it's my favorite episode of Sopranos.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Sopranos?
Never. I want to at some point.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Why?
Because I feel like you're the type of guy, if you watch Sopranos, suddenly you'd walking around talking like this. Hey, we hunting fucking ghosts today.
I was in New Jersey. I saw them filming it.
Really?
Yeah, there's like a diner in Freehold that they filmed at occasionally. And I remember driving past it when I was a kid.
Oh, it's your hometown. Yeah, you're from Freehold.
I'm from Manalapan, but the town over is Freehold, yes.
Nice. So wait, did you say that you had a family member who experienced this?
No, I just online when you like Google like top 10 ghost stories, there's always one that's like about a family member, like about someone who's dying and they see like a dead relative come to them. And it's either they like die the next day or they get better.
That's the thing too. Like it happens to people who are sick. You don't even have to die to experience this.
There's also a lot of stories about like priests coming to like dying people and then like they get better and then people don't know where the priest came from.
You know,
I saw that on that show with Jonathan Frakes. What was that show called?
Believe It or Not.
Is that what?
Fact or fiction?
Yeah. And it was a real story like that. This family saw like a priest come into their like dying relative's room and then he left. They didn't know who called him and then the relative got better.
So this is interesting to me because even kind of getting back to our latest episode.
So we're all over the place.
No, I mean, this topic is kind of broad.
Yeah.
We're talking about, working in a hospital and having this near-death experience. What is it? Is it a paranormal experience? Is it a psychoactive experience? Is it some sort of natural drug trip? I mean, there are a lot. This is a broad conversation topic. There's so many things it could be. What I was going to say, getting back to our most recent episode, I didn't get too much into this, but in going through kind of like the Native American lore and mythology and over the course of research, did find some sort of story about this like belief that people can enter the spirit world. And it wasn't quite clear to me how you enter the spirit world, if this is like you can physically go there, but it was talking about people who become injured and are close to death can go both ways. They can either die or they can get better. And when you're in that situation, and this is what we're talking about with this too, you're so ill.
Yeah.
It's touch and go is what people call it. We don't know if you're going to make it or not. That's being in the spirit world where literally your soul is hanging in the balance. Are you going to go to the other side or are you going to come back here?
Or like a limbo.
Yeah, it's a limbo. There's a belief that people can actually enter this realm. And you can enter it when you're sick, but you can also like purposefully enter it through like rituals and ceremonies. I don't know. It was really interesting to me kind of just to read that stuff in the mythology and the research I was doing. But again, it's like, I don't know. This is kind of what we're hearing about now with The Visit and being in hospitals. It's reminding me of it, but it's like specifically reminding me of it. Kind of this talk about being so ill and being touch and go and being like on the verge of death. You are close to the spirit world. I don't know. Is this like, oh, you're just tripping, you have a psychoactive drug in your head? Or is this like, bro, you were about to become a ghost and you were fucking seeing ghosts, like actual ghosts who know you? Like, I don't know. For me, it could go either way. It's 50-50.
I read this story a long time ago, and I cited it a lot. So I don't know if this is. It might be so long now that this is maybe a fictitious story, but I'm not sure. But I've always heard the story where like these surgeons would like put hidden messages really high up in the room where they were operating.
Is this like an operating theater where people can like watch? Like,
I don't fully know,
maybe?
but like like they would hide secret messages in places that no one would ever be able to see, because they found that like when they were operating on people and they would have someone like die for a second and come back, they would like know the messages.
They'd have an out of body.
Yeah,
experience.
and they would like they had like someone. Like I said, I don't know where this story came from. I read it when I was very young.
John, call us back.
Yeah.
Tell us. Okay, the visitation, that's one story. But do people have out-of-body experiences in your hospital where they see themselves from outside looking in?
Yeah.
I want to know. Hey, this has been a fantastic call. We could talk about this for a long time, but this is just a hotline episode. This is just, a sampler. Like when you go to Denny's, you get a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, so
chicken wing.
We're going to cut it off here, but tune in on Saturday at noon for another full-length episode of Mega Strange. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, and make sure you hit that alert button.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Derek. That's Johnny.
Hello.
Keep it strange, y'all.
Good night.
You say hello, I say goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye.